Hello, my name is Neil Campbell. I'm the Managing Director of the Motor Industry Consultancy Group. And I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about customer service. Many of you may be aware that the motor industry has a complaint registered against it called a super complaint relating specifically to customer service. In fact, the government a few years ago actually noted that £4 billion worth of overcharging was happening within our industry. And there's been various people looking at this ever since. Many of you represent the smaller to medium-sized businesses within our industry. And in fact, you are the segment within our industry that actually has the best customer service. That may come as a surprise to many of you, but there's one very, very good reason for that. The people who run the business are speaking to the customers. That's very, very important. So that's the first point I would like to make. It relates to communication. You as the business owner are able to take responsibility for what your business has done when things go wrong and indeed when things go right. Now, that's what customers look for. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the 4 basic principles of good customer service, bearing in mind that you've got one of those covered already, many of you have. But I'm sure that many of you will be able to think about some of these points and maybe improve on some of them. My first point, or point number 1, would be about good communication. Good communication is absolutely vital when dealing with customers. You must hear what they say, you must act on what they're requesting, and you must be able to offer solutions. Now, one of the techniques that we often encourage our clients to use is good eye contact. Pay attention to your customer when your customer is speaking to you. Reflect what they're saying through your body language, good open body gestures, and make sure that they feel that you're listening to them. Now, this actually applies within the business to your colleagues as well. If they want to talk to you about something, make sure you're attending them properly. This is the first principle, good communication. My second point with good customer service is make sure that your staff are aware when they've done something correctly, when they've done something well with your customers relating to customer service. Now, the way you must give good feedback to your staff. Now, this applies for good practice and poor practice. If your staff think they're working in a vacuum and you're not noticing when things are going wrong, or indeed you're not pointing out when things have gone well, they might start to act in a way that you might not like and your customers might not like. This is a very important principle. It is a way to ensure that your own standards are adhered to within your business, and just make sure that your staff are aware when they're doing things well. The third point I would like to make is one that you can have the most effect on, is about your own attitude. Now, we can be set off in a bad mood by all sorts of things. Things can go wrong that just put you into a mental state where you're expecting things to go wrong. And you can have a whole day, you can have a whole week where things escalate, things are very, very difficult to handle. Now, there is only one common factor there, and that's you. You are dealing with people, lots of different people, you're dealing with the same staff, and why are things starting to go wrong? And it's because of your own attitude. Now, even when you're in the middle of a conversation with a customer, you can take a moment within that conversation to change your attitude to a more positive one. It's a very, very good mental discipline that you should apply. Instead of taking the attitude that you're going to defend your actions, why not stop and think for a minute, how is this customer, why is this customer shouting at me now? Why has this customer got a problem? And get into their mental state and think about what it is that's causing the problem in the first place. There is always a better solution than being defensive. So if you can get your attitude right, if you can learn the techniques and the ability to adjust your attitude mid-sentence, mid-day, beginning of day, end of day, whenever it needs to be, then you will find that it'll have huge benefits in your business. Your attitude is infectious. Make sure your attitude is worth catching. The last point I would like to make is I think I would like you to apply the enthusiasm you have for fixing cars, which all of you share. everybody shares that enthusiasm for technically fixing cars. And many people say to me, if it wasn't for the customers, it would be a very enjoyable job. I would like to see you applying the enthusiasm and enjoyment that you have from purely fixing cars to sorting out customers' problems. Apply those same principles of looking at an issue, resolving the issue, and then having the satisfaction that issue is resolved. Apply that to the way that you deal with customers and the way you talk to customers, and your enjoyment in the job will become infectious. It's like the attitude thing. If you've got a good attitude, if you're enjoying yourself, it shows. It shows on the telephone, and it'll show when you're speaking to people. It shows in your body language. Be confident that if you are enjoying your job, that is 90% of giving good customer satisfaction. And in conclusion, once you've applied those good points of customer satisfaction, it's important that you must sustain them and actually develop your customer service. Now, the best way to work out a way of developing your business for the customer is to simply ask them. Going back to the communication principle, if you ask questions of customers, they feel as if they become more involved in your business. And you'll be amazed how many customers will volunteer information for you that will help you develop your business. So think of some good questions that you can ask at the end of a transaction when you're making out an invoice about your business, asking them just generally how you might improve. You'll develop this skill, and I promise you'll get a lot out of it. Good luck.